In this video, I'm going to talk about how to recession-proof your kids. There are some skills that you just learn better when you're a toddler rather than an adult. And I'm going to talk about the skills. I'll talk about the theory skills, the social skills, the psychological side of it, but there's a lot of practical skills. There are things that you learn a lot better as a kid than an adult. So let's talk about the first thing, okay? And it might be silly for you, but I'll just say it. Riding a bike, teaching your kid how to ride a bike. The optimal time is between 4 to 6, I read. And I've seen adults try to learn how to ride a bike and it is so hard to balance. And why do I say bike? Well, the third largest expense after rent, mortgage, food, the third largest household expense is transportation. And that cost is just going up and up. Gasoline, cars, cost of repairs. So if you can lower that cost to $0, I mean, that is a lot of money saved. You need to get around, you need to get to job interviews, you need to get to where you need to get to food. You know, type in on Google Maps the destination, the time it takes for driving versus a bike. I mean, the bike isn't that much slower, so it's something worth looking into. I mean, it's also good for your health, it's fun. It's good for their confidence. My kid started at 2 and he was riding really well and we're able to ride our bikes to Walmart. So definitely riding your bike is a skill worth learning as a toddler. That's a good tool to have when you are in a time of crisis. You need to have as many tools in your box as possible to prepare yourself for these financial crisis times. You know what I mean? So let's get to the next one. You know, it's never too early to give them a head start in your trade. I mean, you don't have to give them all the details, but getting them in the mindset. Like we always hear about nepotism, but I think what happens when you're like a child of a lawyer, a doctor, or even an actor, you're just getting in the mindset. You're exposing yourself to the mindset of a professional. Like you're talking about, you know, maybe you're detailed oriented in a certain way. You're talking about, like, for example, for me, I talk about design principles. I don't know, the way you organize things. The kid is getting exposed to that mindset. And for example, when he sees me working on Adobe Dimension or Adobe Photoshop, Premiere, or whatever, he wants to sit beside me. He's asking me, like, what am I doing? And he wants to play around with it. And I know he's 4 years old, but I just let him do whatever he wants. I try to make it fun for him. Like I try to put like cartoon scenes or whatever on Photoshop. And I try to tell him, like, show them the clone stamp and all that, you know. So there's ways you can make it customized for them to learn too. So it's never too early to learn, and this is where they're really developing their minds. So to give them as many tools as possible, I think it's really a good idea. And the next thing is teaching your kids everything about meal planning. Okay, I know that kind of sounds silly again for a 4-year-old, but I mean, they're curious about the kitchen, tell them everything you know, but if they're not curious, try and make it interesting for them. Make things that they like, cakes or ice cream, or I don't know, whatever, and I tell them about ingredients. I tell them about spices. We have games where we smell spices. I teach them about how to read nutrition labels. And it's really super important to know about food, especially when, like I said before, the second largest household expense after the rent, the mortgage, and all that is food. So if you can really reduce that, because restaurants, eating takeout and all that, that's 400% markup. So if you can reduce that by like 300%, you are ahead of the curve. So you really need to know how to save money. I mean, in this video, I'm talking about saving money, making money. And those are both skills that are super important. You could be working, but you really need to know how to use your time efficiently to make your own food. And healthy food too, because you need fuel for what you do, right? And definitely personal finance. I know, again, that kind of sounds silly, but it's really, this is the time where they like have the foundation, the 90% of their brains develop before the age of 5, all that. And already we're talking about counting and math and all that. And people say, oh, you shouldn't be forcing your kids. But, there's gentle ways of encouraging them to learn. We only learn for 10 minutes a day. I literally put a timer. And now he has a good sense of counting to 20 even. How much money do I have?
1, 2.
2, okay. Can you tell me how much I have now?
5, 6.
Wow, good job. Kian, how much do I have right now?
4, 5, 6, 7.
Yeah.
And we go to the farmer's market, try and make it like fun for him, where he gets the concept of money, paying with $1 bills, especially at farmer markets. They charge with like by the dollar, not by the cent. So it's easier for kids. Like they can buy a bunch of carrots. They get the idea of like how money works. And it's fun for them too. It's not pretend. It's like real. He has his wallet. Can you show your wallet? And it has like $1 bills. And then if something's like $3, he'll know like 1, 2, 3. And this is his real life application to learn about counting. What would you like today? I'd like to a bunch of carrots, please. Okay, you can go pick whichever bunch you want. Yeah, any bunch you want. How about this one, Kian? Huh? Do you want a bag for that? Yes, please. Okay. And they're $3. Okay.
$3 carrots.
You have to give $3. This is your wallet. His wallet.
Sorry about that.
There you go. Okay, don't make sure you have to give the right money. How much was that, Kian?
Stay right here.
1, 2, 3. Was that $3, Kian? Okay. Thank you. Here's your carrots. Okay, that's yours. And the last thing is so important, guys. So important. It should be number 1, but I made it number 5. Is fluency at the native level, another language. There are just so many jobs, like the whole world of jobs opens for you. Guys, Kian, please. They also have they know their silly language. There's a whole world of job opportunities if you know another language at the native level. And I say this because like when I was in the recession myself, I almost got this government job and I speak at a B2 level. You need to be C1, so I was almost there. And I don't want my kid to miss out on an opportunity. It's so hard to learn a language at a native speaking level. You just have to learn it as young as possible. So right now it's so good to learn these days because there's just so many resources, online teachers. They have, if you don't have money for that, you can listen to music. You have access to your library. There's the digital library. There's just so many ways you can learn a language these days. And I have a video about that. It is super important to know another language for a lot of jobs. Like if you want to work at the airport, if you want to work for the government, I mean, it just opens up a whole new world of opportunities. So I'm so determined to have my kids speak at the native level. I am not a native level myself, but you know, where I can, I try to get the online tutors. I try to, I put in the TV shows in Spanish or French. I try to make it fun. We play games in another language. So it's all about making it fun, of course, right? And gently encouraging them to learn. Silly books in French, putting on the silly cartoons in French. Like they learn without realizing they learn. Like it's all about learning while they're having fun. So that's why I came up with this really cool coloring book. It's an interesting concept. I think you should definitely check it out. Like it's a supplementary tool if you want to have your kids like really exposed to in another language after you do the TV shows, the online tutor, the music. Like what else can you do, right? So I have this coloring book, and like while they're coloring, they have like phrases for parents here. So you can say like, what is this shape? This is a star. ¿Qué es esta forma? Esta forma es mi estrella. So you can say things like that, and it's super helpful like to just casually throw in grammatically correct phrases and in another language and try to interact with them. It also has like sentences for the kids to say. Oh, can you please come here and talk about how you like this coloring book? Come here. Kian, do you use this coloring book?
Yeah.
Talk about it.
I like it because I'm Hispanic and I do this every day.
Yeah, and
it's called Hello Octagons.
yes, we're doing like we do 2 or 3 pages a day, right? Is it fun?
Yeah.
And
And then this other coloring book I will show you.
Oh yeah, there's another coloring book. So I have one for French, I have it for Spanish.
And then I'm doing this one.
Yes, this is one for French. I have one about teaching shapes. I have different activities. There's dot to dot, there's the mazes, and you have to be consistent. You have to do it every day. And it's super worth it. It's super worth it. I mean, we were planning on traveling to Mexico, Cuba, Quebec for French. And I know that's like super expensive and not everyone can afford that. So we need to be creative, use technology to learn. There's so much new resources out there. I mean, you can have all the practical skills in the world, but if you're not motivated or curious, or you don't have the social skills, that's also another thing. I mean, I'm sure if I had more social skills, I would have had better job opportunities. The big thing about getting jobs is networking, right? So there are a lot of books. I'll put up some books that I read about how to motivate your kid, giving them choices as much as possible. I read a lot about brain development in general, so I'll touch on that at another video. So practical skills, important theory skills. Most of getting a job is like most jobs are not even posted online. So social skills are really important. Having your kid, I know like being homeschooled is kind of difficult to do that, but I'm trying my best, But I was in public school and I didn't learn much about socialization either. So there's that. I didn't have any connections from that. I never got a job from a connection from a public school. So I was also moving a lot, so having a stable life might be helpful. So I hope this video was helpful. I hope that we're all ready for a recession and we're there to support each other. We're a tight-knit family. Do you know what a recession is? What's a recession? Recession is when like there are no jobs, there's no money going on, people are poor, people are starving, people are living in their cars. It's really sad. Really sad. Do you have any questions about it? Okay. All right. So that's all I have to say about that. Thank you for watching. And if you have any ideas about how to prepare your kids for a recession, because it's really tough out there, please let me know in the comments below.